Hey friends, welcome to Rhubarb Patch Studio. I'm Leah Noel. Thanks for joining me today. This is going to be a regular Flosstube update. I am also posting a StitchCon recap, and for those of you who maybe have skipped it, you will still see what I worked on during StitchCon in this video. So I'm not going to include a lot of StitchCon details in this video because I just did a really long StitchCon update, like recap video with probably too much information, but we're just gonna put it out there in case any of it is useful to people. So in this video, I'm gonna show whips that I worked on during StitchCon and everything, but also everything else that I've been working on since the last Flosstube, like regular Flosstube. So just that's kind of what we're doing. So I am still in this situation with backlighting. Hopefully that will change soon. I am in the process of painting my new space, my new stitching space, and so that's going to be kind of a larger undertaking. My sister moved out of the apartment space that we have downstairs, and so we're like trying to repurpose that space for hobbying and more living area, and we have some kind of larger plans for that space that might include more just more time and effort. So anyway, I don't know when I'm going to be in that new space, but for now we're just gonna deal with our lighting issues here in this space. So I don't know where to start. Okay, I have a finish. I have a finish to share with you. I have whips to share with you. I have plans to share with you, and I have gifts to share with you. And yeah, so that's everything. Okay, so let me tell you about this recent finish that I have. First of all, it's a digital pattern, and it's by Uncanny Kari. It's called Good Night's Kiss, and here is a picture of it. Now, I stitched this as a wedding gift for my husband's cousin, and they sent out wedding invites with their engagement photo on it, and I took the colors from that engagement photo and I used it to customize this design. So I used all DMC floss and I put it on 36 count R&R linen, and I think it's Barb's Brew or Barb's, yeah, like Barb's Brew. But it's whatever is called for on Winter Rose Manor by Brent Gervais, because I bought it specifically for that pattern and then decided not to stitch it on that. So here is where you saw the whip last, and here is my finish and fully finish. So I finished this in 3 days, and in those 3 days I think I stitched 1,100 stitches maybe in those 3 days. And then I stitched it 3 days, went shopping for a frame, found it, and had to figure that out. In a nutshell, on 36 count, it was too small for a standard frame. It finished at 5 3/4 by 5.5 inches. So it needed a 6x6 frame, but that's not a standard size frame. Standard size square frames come in 8x8 and 5x5 and 4x4. So I put it in an 8x8 frame, and I used scrapbooking paper. So just regular scrapbooking paper, and I did I used 2 mat boards. So I put the scrapbooking paper on one piece of mat board. Like, you know, like if this was my mat board, I just used double-sided tape to adhere it to the mat board. And then, so like a full square. And then I used a second mat board to wrap the fabric around. And then I had to somehow adhere the fabric piece to the back mat board, and I had to resort to hot glue. And I wasn't happy about it, but it's done. And it's gifted, and I hope it will never come apart, but I did tell them that if it does, you know, just to let me know, I'll help them out. But yeah, I was able to gift that to them. The reason why I stitched it so quickly is because we had this like last minute event, family event, where they were going to be, and I knew I wasn't going to get a chance to visit with them in the near future, so I was like, go for it. So amid the 4th of July chaos, I managed to do that, and I'm really happy with how it came out. I will also say, so this design is digital, and it works in Pattern Keeper, but it's an image, so you can't search for symbols, and it doesn't tell you the stitch count. So I reached out to Kari, and they gave me the stitch count of 2,763. So if you stitch this and you want to use Pattern Keeper and you want to kind of keep track of your percentage of completion, then you need to know that final stitch count, and it's 2,763. I use Pattern Keeper, but I also use Stitch Pal and XS Journal. I use both of those apps, but the Stitch Pal app is just it's really simple. It's got simple information. It kind of looks like this, where you have the ability to put in your project, and it shows you your percentage done. It shows you an average stitches per day. It has this calculator feature where you can calculate how many stitches you need to complete if you want it done by a certain deadline. It's just really handy, and so I wanted to kind of tell you that information in case it's useful. I really like to use that for patterns that I use in Pattern Keeper because it helps me it simplifies my goal making. Yeah. So anyway, so that was my finish, and really proud of how that turned out. I really like how the colors played out in you know, in my customization. I feel like it's kind of, I don't know, an elegant version of Goodnight's Kiss, and they really love it. Both of them really loved it, and they're kind of artsy. And I knew that my husband's cousin, I knew he was kind of artsy and musical and just, you know, into that kind of thing. So I felt confident that he would like it for sure. But his husband also really loved it. So I was really happy to gift that, and also that's one more whip done. Okay, So on to my regular whips. I just want to show you quickly what I stitched at StitchCon. So the first thing I stitched is called Bargello Sampler, and here is a picture of the finished, like what it's supposed to look like when it's finished. Here is a picture of what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here it is now. So this is really fun to work on. It's very mindless. It's mindless, but not too mindless. You know, like it's a happy medium. But here is the block that I'm working on right now. You can see it's basically just satin stitches, and I'm pretty sure these are the 2 newest blocks since you saw this last. The lighting is just not great, and I'm sorry about that. But these are really pretty purples that I put together these purples. So there's the Bargello sampler. The other thing I worked on a whole bunch at StitchCon was Portuguese bird sampler, and I have stitched on this a lot since StitchCon as well. So this is the chart, and you know, I have selected all of my own colors for this. So I'm doing a total color conversion. And here's where it is last time. And here it is now. So here it is from a distance. And then I will try to bring this up closer so that you can see more of that middle section where I worked. So, yeah, I'm currently working on this leaf, but since you saw this last, I know for sure this whole bird is filled in. This whole tree is filled in. Both of the flowers are filled in. This whole flower, all these flowers, that's all filled in. Everything on this horse is done except for the front hooves, which I just forgot to do. This is all filled in. I'm working on these flowers, but I realized that this is an opportunity to add another bright color that I can use in the border. So I'm going to look through my color and cotton stash or my collection and find another bright color that is going to be coordinating with all of this. And that way I'm going to have more bright color options for the border. Because the border, to me, it looks like a string of lights. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so that border to me looks like a string of lights. And that's actually one of the things that attracted me to this design, even though I'm not normally a border stitcher. But so in the border, I'm not going to use any browns. And so I need more bright colors to fill it out. And yeah, so that's kind of my plan going forward. I know that this border was also completely stitched. Not completely stitched, but everything you see here was stitched since you saw it last. This is a replication of this border, so it'll be exactly the same down here. It's actually my least favorite border to stitch, so I'm just doing it one piece at a time. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say about this, but I really am enjoying it. I stitched this a lot in the car. After StitchCon, I took my son to a 2-week-long art camp, and we went every day, and it was 2.5 hours long. So, and it was too far away to go home. And most days I did find like errands to do, but there were quite a few days where I just sat in my car, found a shady spot, listened to my audiobook, and stitched on this. So I'm happy with that progress. All right, what else? I stitched on Autumn at Hawkrun Hollow. This is another travel project. This is actually, it's stitched on Ada, so it's easy for me to take it in the car and stitch while someone else is driving. So I like to stitch this when I have some passenger princess time. And I'm not doing all of these. I'm not doing this one, this one, this one, or this one. So, and then I'm also rearranging the blocks. The top is done, this is done, and now I'm working on the one underneath it, but it's this block, this pig. Okay, so look at the pig. I am customizing the colors, but I'm using all the called for DMC, but I'm rearranging them. So I'm customizing the colors that I'm using in the blocks, but they're all from the full palette. Okay, so this is on 16 count Haven Ada by Picture This Plus. It's a discontinued fabric, but it is pretty, and it's a nice periwinkle blue. So there's that top that's done. Here's this block that's done. I customized that cat to look like my cat Dudley. This little kitty. Okay, and now do you see an issue with this block? This pig is out of frame. So I was so upset with myself, but I'm just gonna work with it. So I was stitching in the cart, and I was stitching in the car. At the time, this border was not stitched. I had like I just turned around the bend so that I would know where it was. So I was stitching in the car and I completed all the words, and then I used this symbol to find where the start of the pig was. And then I stitched the whole border of the pig, and I stitched the whole thing here and all the words in here, and I started putting in the apples, and then it occurred to me, wait a second. I don't think this is gonna line up. Like, I don't think this is in the right spot. Turns out, instead of counting from this middle, I should have been counting from this little tail part of the symbol. And so this whole pig is like 7 stitches too far this way. And so I thought, well, maybe it'll just look like the pig is walking into frame. So I went back to the border and stitched it down to here, and then found where to stitch it down here. And then I haven't stitched on it since, because I'm just trying to sit with it. I'm trying to be okay with it, and I think I am okay with it. It just kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit. And also I wasn't really in the mood to stitch the fall. This is a fall piece, and I wasn't super in the mood for fall. In the summer, I'm too excited. In the spring and summer, I'm way too excited for it to be spring and summer, because this is my favorite time of year. Everything's so green and lush, and the plants are alive, and the birds are out and nesting, and just, it's so full of life. And then fall comes and everything dies. And I hate that. I do not like the fall. So I couldn't stitch on this anymore. So I put it away. But I think I'm just gonna keep this, and then to balance it out, down here, I'm gonna have something else that's out of frame, like coming into frame. so it won't look so out of place and so awkward. And when I frame it, I'm not going to be able to get as close as I wanted to, but it'll be all right. We're just gonna go with it because there's zero chance that I'm gonna take out that entire pig. That was, I mean, just the outline alone is, I mean, at least 100 stitches, at least. And then if you do the apron he's wearing and everything, yeah, no, I'm not taking that out. So, all right, okay, I had a new start. On the last day of school. It was either the last day of school, let me look. The last day of school, I decided to start Martha Carr, 1838, by Cross Stitch Antiques. What attracts me to this design is that there's so much yellow, and yellow is my son's favorite color. So this is going to be a sampler to commemorate his new school. And so I'll put his school information up here and the dates that he attends the school. In the cartouche, I'm gonna change Martha's name to my son's name, and it'll be okay. It'll be all right. So I actually kitted this one up at Stitchville before they closed. And I had to make a couple adjustments since starting it, because originally I picked up this Weeks Dye Works straw, which is kind of, it's blown out. It's kind of getting blown out. It's a gold. It's not going to show up today, sorry, because my lighting is just not great. But it's a very dark gold. It's a very dark gold, and this is 36 count. And I just had this little voice, this still small voice, tell me, you should make a sample like of your flosses on this fabric to make sure it works. And I'm so glad I did that, because they didn't work on this fabric. So here are the flosses. So what I did is 1 strand, 2 strands, because it's 36 count. So I feel like on 36 count, you can go either way. You can use 1 strand or 2 strands. It just depends on what kind of look you're going for. Originally, I wanted to do 1 strand because I just wanted this to be simple. And so I did 1 strand of white and 2 strands of white. And you can see, even in this video, I think, that the 1 strand it's pretty faded. It's even more faded in person, but it's pretty faded. The white with 2 strands really pops, and I liked that. This yellow, this is 1 strand of yellow, 2 strands of yellow. The 1 strand it looks darker. Like it looks like a darker floss with 1 strand. So using 2 strands, it was nice and bright. But then my dark yellow, which is actually kind of like orange, doesn't show up at all. Look, with 1 strand, it just blends right into the fabric. And then with 2 strands, it just barely shows up. So I thought it would be okay since all of the orange is like outlined, but I just wasn't happy with that. I wasn't happy with that at all. So I went to my fabric collection of things that I have in my collection, and I got 2 pieces that I thought would work. And this first one, actually, I'm only going to show you the one that I picked, and there it is. It's called Mozart by Color and Cotton, and it's 36 count. So I knew from my sample that I was gonna want to do 2 strands of white. not one strand. So I did a color sample on this as well, on this linen as well. And on this linen, the colors were showing up a lot better. This is 2 strands of white. I didn't even bother with 1 strand of white because I knew I wanted it to pop really. And then the bright yellow, seems like it's getting lost in this video, but it looks good in person. And then the orange with 1 strand and 2. So I decided to do 2 strands for all the colors because they were just the most vibrant. I started in the middle because I wanted to make sure I had enough width on this fabric, and I started in the middle of the design and got to stitching. I wanted to get all 3 colors in there, and here's my progress. So the white is looking awesome. The yellow looks okay. And then I put the orange on, and the orange is like stitching out not dark at all. And part of it is because this floss, I'll show you. It is Threadworks. Threadworks? No. Okay. Thread Gatherer. So I picked out Old Western Sun by the Thread Gatherer. It looks like this. On the skein, it looked like a bright orange, bright deep orange. But once I took the strands apart, it became evident. I don't know. Okay, you're just gonna have to trust me on this. When the threads came out, the individual threads, the orange did not permeate the entire cluster of threads. So Thread Gatherer is what, 12? It's 12 strands, and the dark orange was only on the outside, and on the more towards the center of the cluster, it's yellow. And so when you stitch it up, it looks yellow. It doesn't look orange. So I was a little disappointed in that because to me that's actually, to me that would be considered a misdye. I'm not going to take it back because, for one thing, Stitch Fill is not in business anymore, which is sad. But for another thing, it'll be okay for another design that I want to stitch with that color. It'll be great, like flower color or something. But I went online to 123 Stitch, and I picked out a Gloriana floss and an NPI silk to see which one of those will be better. And so I think I'm gonna go with the Gloriana, which is this twisted one here, just because it's a warmer, it's a redder orange, and I think it'll look good with those, with the yellow and the white. You can kind of see yellow and white. And then this NPI would be another good option, but I'm not going to use this. This is actually called for. This is actually what the orange that's called for, 2526. So there's that, but I just wanted it to be a little bit oranger. So I'm hoping that Gloriana floss will be better, but this is my progress so far, and it got very little stitching, but I just wanted to tell you that process of selecting my flosses, because it's not always, you know, straightforward when I make these color conversions. You really do have to just play. You have to be flexible. You have to be willing to change direction, change your plans. And it works for me. And I am fortunate to have a good collection of supplies at this point. So, okay, this video is going to be pieced together, I think, because my life is chaotic right now. Like, my physical space is chaotic, and I'm just trying to get this done. So, okay. The next one is Timber Mallards. This is what it looks like. Nope. It's in this booklet, Southward Bound by Leisure Arts. And there's 2 designs in here, and this is the Timber Mallards. And this is what I'm doing. So here it is the last time you saw it. And here it is now. So this is on 32 count cauldron linen by Picture This Plus, and I'm really trying to get a finish on this. Since you saw it, I actually had to take out some stuff that was down here because I had miscounted, and I hate it when I do that. But since you saw it last, I have added more half stitches here in the background. I think I have worked more on this body. I'm just trying to get this mallard done and chip away at the background as I go. These are browns and oranges, which are my least favorite colors, especially just to stitch with. I just get very bored with them, and so it's hard for me to sit down and like get a solid chunk of time on this, but it's gonna be worth it. And I have other designs that I want to start when this is done, so I just really want to get it done, and I'm working on it. I think if I were to just like devote some solid chunks of time to it, that I'll see some major progress, and that'll be good. But for some reason, half stitches feel slower. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I don't know why that feels that way. But all this background is, like all this background here is half stitch, except the solid tree here is full stitches, and this is full stitches, this smaller one. But all these like the brush part and the reflections are going to be half stitches, and then there's a log down here that's going to be full stitches, but it's coming together. Really like this. It's so beautiful. Okay, next we have, I'm looking at my calendar here. Next that I haven't showed you yet, Pavane. So I couldn't find my cover photo of Pavane, so I'll put in what it's supposed to look like and where it was the last time you saw it. And here it is now. So I'm just working on this page here. My friend Jenny and I are stitching this together page by page. She's already done with her second to last page, because this is our second to last page. Well, I stitched on it randomly, the pages randomly. She stitched from top to bottom, so she's actually on the bottom. Excuse me. I just haven't had time to sit down and stitch, that's all. It's been a busy month. But this shouldn't take too much longer for me to come over and fill in the rest here. And then I also have to figure out what I want to do about initials and year, because in the design there's like 2 numbers here. It's supposed to be like 2024 or whatever year you want to commemorate, and then down here is 1 initial and a second initial. Like for me it would be like LH, but I don't know yet what I want to do with those initials and the numbers. So I have to decide. I don't know, but it's so pretty. I'm stitching this on 40 count, limited edition by Color and Cotton with Silks for You PR 132. Just one strand. It's so beautiful, slightly variegated. It's not going to focus. That's okay. It's just kind of watercolory, very, very pretty. So, loving that. All right. The next one I will show you is Spring Cat Sampler by Kooler Designs. Can I keep it? Yes, I can. This is what it will look like. I have all 4 seasons, and I only have this one started. It's the Spring Cat Sampler. It's a spring cat, but honestly it reminds me of the summer, and that's why I started it right away. But I just love, this is my favorite one of the 4. If I have a picture of where it was last time, I'll put it in here. Oops. I have to take the hoop off. I kept the hoop on for some silly reason. I was stitching this in the car at art camp for a couple of the days, and I used Pattern Keeper. This is the full crosses are compatible with Pattern Keeper, and you have to look at the PDF for back stitching, but okay, this is on 16 count Ariel? Yeah. This is on 16 count Ariel Ada by Pictureless Plus. This is where I am. Let's get this out of the way here. There you go. So, since you saw this last, I just worked on filling in this birdhouse, and there's little birds there. So my goal is to stitch the birdhouse and get started on the back stitching. So I just wanted to kind of do a concentrated area. So that's what we're doing here. But it's looking really good. I forgot that I wanted to change the color of this wood and before, but it's too late. I started stitching on it. It's very red. It's a red wood, but it'll be fine. So yeah, I'm really liking this. So pretty, and it's so easy to stitch, like in Pattern Keeper. I'm basically like I'm picking a concentrated area right now, but what I've been doing is trying to color complete. So I will just organize the stitches by least to greatest, and I'll try to eliminate certain colors, like stitch all of one color, like color complete. I like doing that. It makes me feel accomplished. All right, so I stitched that a couple days, and then I did Goodnight's Kiss, and then the last one I have to show you is Woodall. This is another digital pattern, so here is what it's supposed to look like. Here is where it was last time you saw it, ideally. Okay, here it is now. The thing about this project is, like, it doesn't seem like I'm making a ton of progress, but there's so many stitches, in these flowers. Each flower is like 1,000 stitches. So it's crazy. But I just sat down, and I think last time I just had an outline of this rose. And so I spent a good deal of time, I think 2 days, just sitting there and stitching that rose, and also finishing the vines and filling in the leaves here. So I'm really liking how it's turning out. The fabric is not showing up very well on this video, but it's a 32 count slate, I think, by Roxy Flosco. It's a beautiful, beautiful color. Love it. I am using my own floss conversion, and it's not a total floss conversion. It's just, I don't know how to describe it, but I did reference the picture, like the stitch model, to make some of my decisions, and then my fabric and just my own preferences for brightening up colors. And so this is where it is. So I will say up here, no, here. So I have a PDF, and I'm using this in Pattern Keeper, and there is some overrun words here that I'll have to reference the PDF for. There were some errors in the PDF, and when I purchased it and put it in Pattern Keeper, I noticed that there were like these random stitches placed. So I reached out to the seller, who is the designer, and let them know about it. And they said, oh no, we didn't know about that. So they fixed it and then sent it back to me, but it still has errors. And I didn't want to, I didn't want to make it a big deal, because I can work around them. But one of the errors is that this leaf is like cut off. It's missing symbols. It's missing stitches in here. So I had to look at the cover photo and just kind of like put colors where I thought they're supposed to go in kind of the shape that is maybe supposed to be, but it was just kind of a guessing game. And when all is said and done, you won't be able to see if there is an error there, because it blends in. I think it looks fine this way, but yeah. Whew. I think between this flower and filling in the leaves and the stem and these, I think I put about 1,500 stitches into this project since you saw it last. So that's pretty cool. And I just watched Jessie Marie Does Stuff. I watched her whip parade. She's doing this one. She had the same issue with the leaf at the top, and I learned about this sampler from my friend Megan, Wide-Eyed Stitching Child. She's got hers on the go, and I think she showed it in her last whip up, or her last video update. It's either the last one or one of the last two. I can't remember, but if you want to see how other people are stitching this, go to those channels. I just think this is so pretty. I love this one. Okay. From what I can tell, that is... No. How did I not put this down? Okay, I have one more. Oh, I told you, I am a mess. I worked on Virtue, so I'm gonna have to look at my my app to see when I worked on this, because I know I worked on this at least one day. This is called Virtue by La-Di-Da, and I am using a mix of the called for flosses, and my own choice. This is where it was when you saw it last. And this is where I am now. So the house is totally done. Yeah. Isn't that awesome? So excited. It's a pink brick house. So there's the pink brick. The roof and window color are called for, and the door and the brick color are my choice, and so is the mortar color, the creamy whitish color. This is 40 count ale by Picture This Plus. And yeah, I think I'm regretting not putting another color in here, but I don't know. I might add a blue, like a bright bluebird blue, but I might just keep it the way it is, because then I'd have to unpick some stitches, and I don't think I want to do that. I mean, in the border, because I would want to add the blue to the border. I don't know if I can get away with that otherwise. I don't know. I don't know why I'm saying anything, because I'm not decided, but the blue, I could stitch those birds blue, or I could stitch the background of this sign blue. I really, had I done it differently when I started, I think I would have added a blue, and I would have put the blue in the border, like where some of the, like some of these colors, like this single one, I might have added blue. I probably would have done that. Maybe a blue door. I don't know. But I'm liking how it's turning out, and this is a nice, easy one to work on. And now I have to do the tree, which is a lot of counting, so. Okay, for sure, we are done with whips. So, real quick, let me show you some gifts that I got. So, for StitchCon, you will have seen this already, but for StitchCon, I ordered some Ort catchers from my friend Christina, Quilting with Nico, and they are just gorgeous fabrics. And I do have leftovers for future giveaways. And when she sent me the items, she also sent me some gifts, which are very sweet. First of all, look at this gorgeous card. Like, I just want to frame this card. You can see it's metallic purple. Oh my gosh. She recently finished this pattern, and I love this pattern so much. She said I could stitch it or give it away. And this pattern tempts me so much, but I know I won't be able to get through it. So this is probably going to be a giveaway at some point. Not today. Gosh, but I do love this. I do love that design. She sent me Just Nan, little mouse. And she sent me some quilt things because she knows I'm getting into quilting. So 3 quilt patterns. So we'll see what happens with those. But yeah, that was just extra special. Extra special. And then I had a visit from a stitcher friend, Susie. She has a Flosstube channel, Susie Reno. I've met her once before in person when I was driving through her area. I stopped by, actually me, my husband, and my son all stopped by and hung out with her. So when I moved back to this area, I reconnected with her and was like, hey, I don't know how it, she thinks she invited herself over. I think I invited her, but we haven't gone back through the text chain to figure out who invited who, but anyway, she came to visit me at my new house, and we had just such a nice time together, just chatting. We didn't even get to stitching because we just had too much to chat about. And yeah, so we're looking forward to seeing each other more often. And while she was here, she gifted me a project bag that she made herself. She makes her own project bags, and she's so good at it. She makes quilts. She does all sorts of crafting, but look at the inside. I love words on the inside. So isn't this so cute? So I have a few new starts on the horizon, so I'm gonna have to decide which one goes in here, but I'm just very excited. It's a nice big size, and I love it. It's so cute. So that was nice. That was a gift from Susie. I'm trying to think if I am forgetting anything, but man, I've been talking for a long time. I do have some new starts on the horizon, like I said, but I'm just not going to go into those right now. That's kind of more in plans, and I'm not a good planner right now at this stage of my life. Yeah, I'm just trying to enjoy my stitching. I'm trying to whittle down my whips. I keep a running list, and I keep a running list of my finishes and starts in my stitch planner thing here that I use. It's just a regular monthly planner. And in the back, I just keep a running list of starts and finishes. And right now I'm sitting pretty well at more finishes than starts. Some of my finishes are UFOs, like I officially decided to abandon certain projects. So, you know, and I don't have a lot of starts yet, but my birthday's coming up. It's a big birthday. It's 40, and I have a handful of things that I'm thinking about for that. So, the other thing that I do is, or that I did recently, is I was inspired by Brenda Handwork Maniac to just list out all of my whips in order of when I started them. And I have not always been keeping track of my dates. The first that I kept track of was July of 2018. So I started then, but there are just like three whips that I have that I would consider works in progress. I think I have 3 like vintage whips that did not make this list, so I just have to rewrite this list probably. But this is helping me to keep a visual reference of the things that I have going already, and it's helping me when I'm in the mood to like UFO things that I just don't want to stitch on. It's helping me to like see it all here and really ask myself, do I want to stitch that? And so far, yeah, I think I'm good with what I'm stitching. But anyway, I'm just trying to like cross out. This is my game right now. It's like I'm just working on crossing out whips from this list, whether it's finishing or UFOing. So, what else is there to say? It's been too long. I hope it won't be as long again, or at least that I won't be as productive as I was since my last Flosstube. But if you made it this far, thanks so much for staying with me. And I don't know when my next video update will be. July is slowing down a bit for me schedule-wise, so that's good. I do have a couple, yeah, I do want to pull out Autumn Knotting to stitch on that for a little while because Christina took out hers. And I will be stitching on on Annual Border by the Drawn Thread with Dana Gemstone Stitches. We're stitching on that next week, I believe. Yeah, like the 16th. We have like 3 days next week that we picked out to stitch on that, so that'll be good. That'll give me some incentive to bring that out again. And then yeah, new starts August and September, and that's it. Okay, let me know what you're stitching on today. And gosh, I will see you in about a month, I'm sure. Within a month, probably. It's already mid-July, so I might wait till like the beginning of August to make another video. That sounds reasonable to me. But anyway, okay, I'm rambling at this point. It's been a long time of me sitting here talking into a camera. So I hope you're doing well, and I will see you again soon. And that's it. Take care, friends.